Blessed be a higher. That's right. Go ahead, sweetheart. Blessed be high, O my soul, and all that's within me. Bless his holy apart name. In him I shall be confident. Thank you, Zion. Grand risings to the beloved brothers and sisters of the 12 tribes scattered worldwide, especially to the elect. Okay. All praise and honor to the Most High. As this video is titled, we will be talking about the origins of EL today. Okay. Yes, we will. But in the meantime, we don't need no instruments. No, we don't need no down. Come on. Down, 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 down. No, we don't need no instruments to praise a higher from within. To praise the great I am. That's right. No, we don't need no instruments. Gonna praise him from within. He's worthy of all our praise. Thankful for another day. So come and sing with me. We don't need no instruments. No, we don't need no instruments. Do 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 do. La 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 la. La 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 la. Sing along. A highest worthy of the song and dance. That's right. We don't need no instruments. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We don't need no instruments. Gonna praise a higher from within. Gonna lift our voices and give thanks. We are grateful for your goodness and your mercy to the nation of the children of Jacob. Yes. Blessed be Yahweh, my soul, and all that's within me. Bless his holy set apart name. In him I shall be confident. Today we will be talking about the origins of El so that we can have a better clarity. And then we'll be talking about the origins of Ra, then the origins of Isis. We're going to be getting into what the father named his children versus what man named us. Something like bywords. All right. So I have to go from screen to screen because I have something pulled up here on my computer that I'm going to be reading. So I don't see the chat. That's probably why. So I can't pronounce this. It's Britannica. Britannica. .com is the source of where I'm reading this from. Underneath it, it's philosophy and religion, ancient religions and mythology. Okay. So here I have it's EL up, and it's a Semitic deity. Okay, a Semitic deity. Encyclopedia Britannica's editors oversee subject areas in which they have extensive knowledge, whether from years of experience gained by working on that continent or via study for an advanced degree. So Britannica's editors were in this, like say they went on research to, they went to the location to do the research they got. So they lived there for some time. They asked questions, and like something when you would see a documentary or something like that, and the people are traveling to gather their information. All right, so L, the general term for deity in Semitic languages, as well as the name of the chief deity of the West Semites. Okay. In the ancient texts from Ras Shamara, ancient Ugarit in Syria, El was described as the tutelar head of the pantheon, husband of Azeroth. All right, so I'm going to write that name down and put that in the chat. Asherah. Asherah. Okay, so El is the head of the pantheon, and husband of Azeroth, and father of all other gods. Okay, so he's a father that produced demigods. All right, so-called, according to fairy tale. All right. It says, except for Baal. Okay. His most common epithet was the bull. Okay, so I need to know that word because I can barely pronounce it, and that word is important. Epithet. So it's probably something like his most common, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. An adjective or descriptive phrase. Oh, okay, quality, character. Okay, so basically, El's most common characteristic or something to identify him by was the bull. See, that makes him bow. All right, well, I don't know. Anyway, his most common characteristic was the bull, but he was also sometimes called creator / possessor of heaven and earth. Although a variable deity, he was not active in the myths, which primarily concerned his daughters and sons. He was usually portrayed as an old man with a long beard and often two wings. He was the equivalent of the hearing god Kumarbi, the Greek god Cronus. Okay, so it's a Greek god. Cronus. In the Old Testament, El is commonly used as a synonym for Yahweh, and less commonly as a general term for deity. Okay, well, this is the thing. And what they call the Old Testament, the Father does not introduce or describe himself as a bull or anybody's long beard or see, here we go. The enemy's already added. Here we go with the nonsense, devil. We rebuke you in the name of Yeshua. We rebuke the prince of the airs off of the connection. In the mighty name of Yeshua, like I was saying, here's the thing. The Father is not identified in what people call the Old Testament as Yahweh. He does not introduce himself as that. He introduces himself as I am that I am. And the one he has sent in the world, which was John, to bear witness of the light, who does testify of the Father, has accounts all in the book of John of what his name is. Here's the banner. It's just some examples. All right, I got 8 of them here. Just 8. All right. In John chapter 8:58, he says, before Abraham was, I am. When you hear the word I am, it is basically saying I exist. I am the living existing one. Because all these other deities and all these other gods or whatever they want to be called, fairy tales, do not exist. They don't exist because they cannot give life. They do not take life. They do not speak. They do not eat. They ain't nothing. They come from out of the creation of man's hearts, imaginations, rebellions, and wickedness. Okay, let's get back to this little essay thing. All right, so it says Middle Eastern religion. Now, mind you, it's stated out of, let me go to this first. Judaism, the pre-Mosaic period. So basically trying to say Judaism before the Messiah. Okay, remember, please take this in your mind. Judaism is a practice that stemmed out of those who were not Jews. They lived in Judea. They was in our surrounding areas. These heathens tried to come up with ways to and slightly usurp and to blend in. Just like the Torah is now been adopted by a doctrine, well, not adopted, but it's been mutated. There's been other doctrines that mutated from the word of truth, such as Christianity. There's a prime good example of what we would call Judaism in those days. When Torah was all they knew, people, the other practices of idolatry were gravening images. Example, the serpent that was in the wilderness that the ancestors looked upon. People started worshiping it, and Hezekiah had to tear it down. All right, let me read this. Syrian and Palestinian religion, EL. Kindly and wide. Now, when you see in Christianity and they give you images or even a sound of a voice that sounds like an old man with a beard, and you see images of an old man with a beard. I'll give you an example. Screenshotted one yesterday. Is it not talking about the same deity here? They're telling you right now that El is depicted, which means his image, the image of him is a bearded old man. That's smothered with gravy all up in somebody's Christianity. Let me make sure this is coming up right. You see this? See this old man with what is that around him? A serpent. Well, why do you think that serpent is around him? We just discovered yesterday that the YHWH actually means the living coiling one. The living coiling serpent. It's quite interesting that this image, and I typed, it says Yahweh, okay? It's a picture of Yahweh. And this Yahweh character is an old man with a beard, with a snake wrapped around him. But Deuteronomy 4 says, verse 15 of Deuteronomy 4, take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for you saw no manner of a similitude on the day that Ahias spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire. He said, you ain't seen no similitude. So if you who was hearing her, his voice ain't see one, who is these people who be saying stuff like this? What face, where they get this from? Where they get that from? They ain't get that out the Torah. They ain't get that from the Father. They ain't get that out the gospel. They ain't get that out of the songs of David. Oh, they sure ain't get that from his covenant. the new, or what they want to call old. Kindly and wise, you have killed your brother. 700 Club, they doing it too with the little kids cartoons. That old white bearded man is everybody's wear in Christianity depictions. If he ain't the picture of him, the voice of him. In the legend of King Keret, El is the sole benefactor of Keret. In the king's various sufferings, he responds to Keret's misery at his lack of a family. Judaism, the Pre-Mosaic period, the religion of the patriarchs. The god of the father El, the head of the Ugaritic pantheon, was depicted as both a judgmental and a compassionate deity. Baa parentheses Lord. The aggressive young agricultural deity of Ugaritic is remarkably absent from Genesis. Yet the socio-economic situation of the patriarchs was so different from the urban mercantile. This print here is very thin and very light. Middle Eastern religion. Nature, the framework of ideas and practices. Text just alluded to describe El, the head of the pantheon, copulating with two human women. This has echoes in Hosea and Ezekiel, where God and his Canaanite literary tradition is referred to as having a love affair with two women, symbolizing Judah and Jacob. Stop. That's why he said Jeremiah 4. Stop. Just because our nation split, he makes acknowledgments with us as a, hold on. I need the unlearned to simply understand this. And that includes those who are writing such articles like this. Our nation splitting up was not nothing the Father was pleased with. That's one. Because it was, first of all, the disobedience and idolatry that caused the nation to split with the northern tribes, specifically titled as the House of Joseph. Also, the Father was upset with the fact that Judah, rather than seek, and it's not that we didn't, so I'm sure we tried. So let's not get it twisted. I'm sure we attempted and tried to get our brothers to come back, but for the most part, it wasn't a concern for us. And so taking heed to ourselves also with the air of when we get into this, when truth is revealed to us, that we don't feel it's necessary to have compassion and mercy and long suffering with those who may be struggling with those areas in regards to a means of reaching them. Now, when you're dealing with a bold blanket, a blank, disrespectful disregard, then by all means, you keep it moving. You're not going to be sit here entangle yourself with darkness. So when they make acknowledgement, when this person just stated that the creator is talking about a love affair as it with two women, first of all, he's one. All right. And even Yeshua said, which is the Father said from the very beginning, Adam did not put his wife away, which means there was nothing he was able to put his wife away with. So what they got to understand is that though we split and what they see as a love affair, it's really not a split. The nation's really one, but he addresses both houses according to their iniquity and according to their issues. And when he speaks of love coming back to him, it was him. It's like if I have a daughter and she goes into the world and she comes back from college and she has a whole new identity. She became a AKA or something. And I'm trying to speak to my daughter to be who I want her to be. I'm going to acknowledge where she's at and addressing her in her idolatry to remind her of who she once was to me, to come back. So what they got to understand, he also stated that he's going to bring the two branches back together and make one. So it's really just frustrating when we're dealing with information and we got to swim through the lack of understanding with these people who don't truly understand who Jacob is, and secondly, do not understand who the Father is, because the devil's deceived the whole world. So it's people in the world trying to do the best they can to get information concerning the true living Creator by swimming through the mess. Let me read scripture really quick, all right? And then we're going to get back to some more information. But I want to read this again just to give you understand what I'm trying to say here. If you just came in or you don't understand what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can click on that and get more information on that, because it is highlighted. All right, hold on. Okay, so it says, all right, okay. So scroll back up. Oh, it's a lot. All right, religious practices and institutions, nature, the framework of ideas and practices. So when you think about framework and ideas, they're trying to understand the foundation. Remember, no man has seen the Father, right? But the Son has seen the Father. So the Word is the only seeing of the Father. The Word is the only image and figure and mirror of the Father. Fertility of agriculture and edible animals. Okay, I'm not trying to go off on that. I'm just trying to get to what you just was talking about out your mouth about some to women's affairs and all this in the jazz. Because we're not gonna have that. Hold on. Let me go back. I'm gonna scroll back down. This is under Judaism. Wait. No. It's just, I'm talking about the love affair is under the Middle Eastern religion. Eastern religion. When you hear the word Middle Eastern, what is already driven your brains to think about? Jewish people, right? They say they're from the Middle East, right? First of all, that term is already aired. There's no such thing as Middle East. There's no such thing as Middle West, Middle South, and Middle North. It's East, West, North, and the South, okay? That's just what it is. So we can already tell by this person identifying the East, nature, the framework of ideas and practices, with the name EL in there. This is very, very serious. Gotta get this. Text just allude to describes El, the head, and the pantheon copulating with two human women. First of all, is Judah and the house of Joseph two human women's? No, it's two nations that he has made covenant with as vows, in a way a husband makes a vow to his wife. See how sad these unlearned people look. This has echo. So you basically going to try to take the scriptures of the Father and say, see, this is El, because El is flying with wings. First of all, that's why I love the Father is a spirit. That's what makes him so, you can't touch him, like, because these people with the lack of understanding concerning the Father want to make this El deity be identified by the spirit of truth, by the word of truth of the Father's spirit concerning him. Because he has two women on the side, and go say, well, let's find some similarities. See, the keeper, or what they would say, the God of the Israelites, he got two people he married. I need to read this. Jeremiah 3. I'm gonna start over here, verses 12. No. I'm gonna start at verse 11. And Ahiah said unto me, the backsliding house of Joseph have justified herself more than treacherous sister. So that means at least Judah was like, you know what? I ain't even gonna try to say Lisa, I'm gonna just shut up. No, but no. You, House of Joseph, you want to be like, well, look, at least I tried to make this look like you, like something like what Benjamin, like what Saul tried to do when he told him to kill everyone. Verse 12, go and proclaim these words toward the north and say, return. Why I say in the north? Because when we look over here earlier, and when we were talking about yesterday, Edom, they dwelt in the south of Judea, or south, Judea. They dwelt in the south, and then they started coming southeast. So they finally got their little funny looking behinds where they wanted. Out of the territory they were supposed to be in. Return, thou backsliding house of Joseph, saith the higher, and I will not cause my anger to fall upon you. For I am merciful, saith the higher, and I will not keep anger forever. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against your keeper. I am that I am. And has scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree. So that's like a woman being caught in adultery, and you just crying and running away, and you expected not the man to want answers, or you expected him to not, you expected to come back home and I'm not here to bother you. I'm just coming to get some clothes. I'm about to just get a shower real quick, get something to eat, and I'm gonna be out your hair. No. You got to acknowledge, at least acknowledge what you did. This is where the Father's coming from. Verse, I ain't finished 13. Strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the higher. My voice. He ain't say, you didn't bow down before me 4, 5, 7 times, or you didn't give me that statue I wanted, or you ain't give me that offering, that sacrifice. He said, you ain't obeyed my voice. But Deuteronomy 4 said, take heed to yourselves. You saw no similitude. You only heard a voice. Verse 14, turn, O backsliding children, saith the higher, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Listen here. He said, I will give. That means he's going to send. That means he's going to raise up to cause them to come back. So those that are not causing the people to come back to him wholeheartedly, truly, and purely, they're, first of all, not sent to the Father. And second of all, they're helping them stay in defiance, in disobedience. So with this whole person talking about Middle Eastern religion, the marriage is the word. That's the vows. Now, so let me go back over here to click on the Judaism pre-Mosaic period, the religion of the patriarchs. I'm going to click on that and see what more information we can get out of this. Because I was noticing at the end of my screen, it kept telling us I'm waiting for pages, responding, connecting, like there's some issues because I got this pulled up. Like somebody's feeling some kind of a way. Really, I'm not pressing. I don't give a John Brown. All right. Here we go. I'm going to start here. Or is it more? Because I want to make sure there's not more. Oh, there is more. Here we go. With all these strange imaging. And it's always, not only is the creator supposed to be deemed as an old man with beard, but they do that also with Moses. They do that with all the apostles. They do that with the prophet. They do that with everybody in the daggone Bible. Like somebody got to always be old, white with an old white beard. Bunch of creeps. Seriously, they're creeps. All right, I'm trying to go up. Okay, biblical Judaism, 20th through 4th century BCE. The ancient, what they got, Middle Eastern setting. Ain't nothing ancient by Middle Eastern because that's even a new term, okay? You won't even find that word in the Bible. And they dwelt and they went into a land, Middle East of such and such. No, that's not in there. The Bible depicts the family of a Hebrew patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all early second millennial BCE, as having its chief seat in the northern Mesopotamian town of Haran, which then belonged to the Haranian kingdom of Mitanni. From there, Abraham, the founder of the Hebrew people, is said to have migrated to Canaan, comprising roughly the region of modern Israel and Lebanon. Do they not understand that Jacob even said to the Pharaoh, his days of his pilgrimage? There was no land named after Jacob. Whenever our ancestors went somewhere, they made an altar unto the Most High and put it in and named the place according to whatever, the Most High like dealt with them one day. There's no land that Jacob named after himself. There's Jacob's wells, which without the promises of those territories, his children were inheritors of. But there was no land named Israel, and they're not going to find that in the Bible. You see, the land that was given to the seed was promised to Abraham by certain territories. So again, there's another one. You got the Middle Eastern term error, and then you got modern Israel in Lebanon. Where's the ancient one? You're not going to find that. Which was a vertex of West Asian, Egyptian, and East Mediterranean cultures. Throughout the biblical period and later ages from Canaan, the Hebrew ancestors from all people. And first of all, where do you even identify that he was Hebrew? Like, where is that at? He came out of the land of Ur, of the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans spoke Aramaic. You see, throughout the biblical period from Canaan, the Hebrew ancestors of I'm just reading as it would have saying. Y'all already know where I stand at, and the Father has me. And bottom line, there are certain people who are going to need to be sealed and will no longer call themselves by the three unholy Trinity. And the three unholy Trinity simply is Isis, Ra, and El in one name, which is known today as Israel. Okay? We're cooking up a rebuke for that. Throughout the biblical period and later ages from Canaan, the Hebrew ancestors of the people of Jacob, named after the patriarch Jacob, migrated to Egypt, where they lived in servitude. Yes, it is in the scripture. Let me say something to you. If you're just new to watching my channel, hold the phone, okay? I just stated to you, Israel is it's a combination of three. It's a trinity of it's an unholy trinity. We're called by the name of our Father. Really quick, Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Verse 29 says, "Lo, this only have I found, that I have made a man upright, but they have sought out many inventions." You get that over there in Deuteronomy 32 and 33, and Isaiah 44 too. He said, "I formed thee, I have made thee in the womb." If the word just says over here in Ecclesiastes verse 7, he made a man upright, and you following after Isis, Ra, and El, you ain't upright no more. You first of all, you're an idolater. Second of all, you rebellious, and third of all, you went off. Because when we was in the wilderness and Aaron resurrected that golden calf, and they was worshiping, he said to Moses, "They're going out of the way." So going off is the same as going out of the way, and you go out of the way and going off by idolatry. And if you are wrestling with an angel who is not of the Most High to bless you, if you're seeking blessings from angels, you're going off. And the Most High never told his children to be seeking an angel for a blessing. That's idolatry. And believe it or not, some people idolize angels. You can't identify and say they ain't one of our nation ain't do it, because they did. For every commandment the Father gave us, you better believe the children of us, Jacob, we broke them joints. Yeah. Just look around. You'll see angels, some little white baby angels in somebody's house, pale as the mud, in somebody's house with some wings. Now think about it. If those little babies angels got wings, and they are identifying El, which is a Semitic Eastern deity who was identified with wings, and he's a father of gods, then what's those little babies? Or is not we in the time of people worshiping or just got done celebrating Valentine's Day, which is identified with a little baby Cupid, which is the form of a baby angel with wings and an arrow with a bow. But we just read yesterday that Yahweh had a bow or thunder and lightning. But when you see little images of, have y'all ever seen those little images where he's sitting in a white man with a beard who's sitting in a chair, he's reaching his hands out and got little babies all around him? You ever wonder about that? You ain't find it strange that little babies is like all sitting up on. Let me get Isaiah 44 too. Father, we don't want another day to go by where anybody's tapping into this channel be not held accountable for that name they got behind their name. If you still call yourself Israel. Many are called by some name, but few are chosen. What? Many people know the name Israel. That has not been the name that's been wiped from our remembrance, because that's not a foreign name to us. Everybody has been reminded of that name. Why? Because when the wicked have gotten into the position of power, they made sure you were well aware of their unholy trinity. They put that in your name, but they took the form of being upright out of your name. Now, let's get it. I am not allowed to give up this seat until within in the spirit it is well concerning what my intentions is to do on this day's mission. And it will get done. We're not playing anymore. We're not batting eyes. Isaiah 44 verse 2. Thus saith Yahweh that made thee and formed thee from the womb. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 29. Lo, this only have I found, that Yahweh hath made man upright. You gotta find, oh my goodness, y'all. If something's gotta be found, it means it's hidden. So you mean to tell me it was hidden that the Most High made man upright? Yeah. But what happened though? They sought out many inventions. Inventions of who? The wicked. Thus saith Yahweh that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. What is Jeshurun? Jeshurun, they say, is a poetic Hebrew word for upright. Upright in heart. If he's chosen upright in heart, he's already favored you. You don't need to wrestle to have power with him. One who seeks power with the Most High and man is one who does not have a lowly. Remember, when Yeshua appeared on the earth, in what manner did he present himself? Did he not present himself as lowly, coming riding on an ass? Did he show us by his works? You saw the power of he who sent him. It is vitally important that when we're reading the word, we must learn and keep in mind the Father's character. So then when something doesn't seem right, or something is speaking against our Father, we're able to rightly judge. All right. So let's get back to this article. Let me check the chat in case there's any questions. All right. So let's keep it moving. All right. All right. So where were we at? All right. So migrated to Egypt, where they lived in servitude. A few generations later, they returned to occupy part of Canaan. Did you catch that trap? Did you catch that one? Yes. Yes, we were in servitude in Egypt. That's correct. But they didn't mention the period of when we had rulership. If I'm an ignorant Christian and I'm reading this, something that the woke children of Jacob were stating, I would be like, no. The sorcery of information out here is deep. And if you do not have a spirit of truth, you're going to fall into the hole. Migrated to Egypt, where they lived in servitude a few generations later. They did not mention to Abraham in Genesis 15 that the fourth generation will return here and occupy. And he said, shall be afflicted. So it's not servitude. They were in bondage. What when you say servitude? Yeah, of course, you can get the same understanding with that. But what they have tried to do in this last part here is let you know that, in other words, it cuts your mind from ever considering a people that was on ships sent over here and scattered worldwide. Mind you, it's mentioned all through the scriptures. So you're going to have a hard time doing that. Let's move along. I already showed you this funny looking picture, but I'm going to show it to you again. Now, here's Isaac. Abraham's supposed to be sacrificing Isaac. Okay. And some pale looking angel. Look at this. The painting Sacrifice of Isaac, 1713, by Italian artist, whatever. They cover the faces of the judges. So if the artist is Italian and he's doing this, who is the devil that covered the face of the judges? Italian. What is an Italian? Rome. What is Roman? Edomite. Ain't nobody else did that. Abraham ready to obey the Most High's commandment, to sacrifice his son Isaac. But it's showing an angel here stopping him, saying, don't hurt the lad. Didn't it say, and a voice came out and said, Abram. It didn't say, and an angel showed up and was wrestling with him. Even the picture is not according to scripture. Moving along. Now it has Israelite culture. Oh, let me go back to Jeremiah because I got to be open to Jeremiah. All right. Initially resembled that it is surroundings. It was neither wholly original nor wholly primitive. The Hebrews were Seminodic, herdsmen, and occasionally farmers. Their tribal structure resembled of the West Semitic steppe. Dwellers known from the 18th century BCE tablets excavated in the north-central Mesopotamia city of Mari. Their family customs and law have parallels in the old Babylonian and Hero-Semitic law of the early and middle second millennium. The conception of a messenger of the Most High that underlies biblical prophecy was Amorite, West Semitic, and also found in the tablets of Mari. Mesopotamian religious and cultural conceptions are reflected in biblical cosmogony. Primeval history, including the flood history in Genesis 6:9, 8:22, and law collections. The Canaanite component of Israelite culture consisted of Hebrew language. and a rich literally, literally, literary heritage, whose Ugaritic form, which flourished in the northern Syrian city of Ugarit from the mid-15th century to approximately 1200 BCE, illuminates the Bible's poetry, style, and mythology allusions. Whenever you talk about the word being scattered throughout different customs of worship, it's simply because Noah and his sons were all aware of the reason for the flood and the mannerisms that their father Noah had them understand and walk into. When Noah was no longer living, they thought to do their own little funny looking things. I need to get more into the origins of El. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. We're going to stay right here where we're looking at the origins of this deity. This is not a game. People needs to be aware. So I'm going to click on the Syrian and the Palestinian religion of El. In the Ugaritic myths, El is depicted as a bearded old man, kindly and wise. In the legend of King Keret, El is the sole benefactor of Keret and the king's various sufferings. He responds to Keret's misery at his lack of a family by appearing to him in a dream and giving him detailed directions for making a certain princess his wife. When Keret was successfully followed these directions, El appears at his wedding and pronounces a blessing, promising the couple many children. After the children are born, Keret becomes sick because of his failure to fulfill a vow. No mortal or deity is able to help him until finally El again intervenes and creates a creature for the specific task of healing him. No sooner has Keret recovered and resumed his duties than he faces another crisis. His son proposes to take his place as king, but the sequel, a third intervention by El, has not been preserved in the text. El is called the father of humankind. He is a patriarch of gods, the final power and authority, though he does not always act decisively and he is not always treated with due respect. As a creator, small god, of creatures, though no creation myth has been preserved. And the king of the gods, he is the owner and chief executive of the world. So with El, he is supposed to be identified as the father of gods. But the Most High, creator of heaven and earth, is not identified with any gods underneath him, but those he created, which is those who he created in his image of his word. When he said, let's make man in our image, then it also said, you are gods. It's not for man to be worshipped. So with one not having that understanding, they'll think, well, this is no different. That's the same one. See, this is the third. No. No. Even the forces of chaos, Yamin and Mot, sea and death, are his beloved children. El is called the bull and is represented. See, that's where you're different. See, that's where you lost it. See, when Aaron resurrected a golden calf, or whatever you want to call it, golden calf, is somewhat like him trying to make a bull. He was trying to bring back the practices of what they knew in Egypt, because they're probably like, Moses is up there in the mountain. We can't see him. We need to see what he looked like. We need something to worship. We need to be like the ones around us who got an image. So that why? We can make it. This is why the creator didn't want nobody to see, have no image of him. Like him. That's why he is spirit. Because you can't make dust. You can't make wind. and is represented iconographically by a bull. His consort is Elat, usually known as Azeroth, the progenitress of the gods. She is associated with the sea and with serpents. So when y'all saw that little Medusa woman from Versace with the little serpents coming out her head, that's who the heck that is, okay? The ball cycle. So I wouldn't be aspiring to be getting anybody's name brands of that, because ain't no telling what deities they acknowledge for their sacrifices to get the you know what you call it, the increase from. Baal Hadad is regularly dominated the son of Dagon. Although Dagon, biblical Dagon, does not appear as an actor in the mythological texts, Baal also bears the titles Rider of the Clouds, Almighty, and the Lord of the earth. He is the god of the thunderstorm, the most vigorous and aggressive of the gods, the one on whom mortals most independently depend. Baal resides on Mount Zephon, Cassis, north of Ugard, and is usually depicted holding a thunderbolt. He is the protagonist of a cycle of myths from Ugard. These tell of a challenge from Yam, to which Baal responds armed with magical weapons made by the craftsman god Kothar. Baal manages to overcome Yam. Another major episode is instigated by Baal's lack of a house. They really trying. With the assistance of Azeroth and Anath, Baal gets El's approval to build a house. Kothar accomplishes the construction, and Baal celebrates by inviting the gods to a feast. The other major story concerns Baal's relations with Mot, whom he initially defies, but to whom he eventually succumbs. After Baal is swallowed up by Mot, Anath, Baal's sister, goes in search of her brother. Anath, who is called the Maiden, is a goddess of fertility. You know where we're going. And of warfare. She is depicted in the story in the scenes of bloody slaughter in single combat with various monstrous enemies. Attempts are made to find a god adequate to assume Baal's role and to restore fertility to the land, but these attempts fail. Anath then confronts and defeats Mot and disposes of his body as if it were grain, grinding him up and scattering him all over the land and sea. In a dream, El learns that oh, so this thing has dreams. Okay. All right. That Baal is alive again. Oh, Ma also reappears, and Baal fight until the sun goddess warns Mot of the consequences of Baal's defeat. There is apparently a final definition of the two gods' spheres of influence. That's the cycle. Okay, moving along. Okay. In this story, the gods grant Daniel a son, Aquat, on whom Daniel confers a bow made by the craftsman god Kothar. Anath offers Aquat riches and immorality to exchange for the bow, but Aquat refuses her offers after bullying El into letting her have her way with Aquat. She proceeds with the aid of her hench. Do you hear this nonsense? I'm even vexed reading it. This is a okay, so this is a deity that is identified by a bull, a little daughter, some crazy little son somewhere. And people have not figured out or have not questioned. First of all, we know they changed the names of the prophets, just like Esther's name was changed from Hadassah. Now I need to question why our prophets got these ELs in the back of their names. Why did his name have to be remembered as EL? The word says, my people are called by my name. But if y'all hid his name, of course you're going to hide the names that his prophets were called by. In order to, it's like when you hide the father and you hide the head, you got to tell the family they came from a daggone ape or something. Like you got to tell the family a lie is that they're going to eventually, by the time they grow up, they're going to want to find themselves. Just like when my daughter and I was watching the other day, these two Jewish lesbians who adopted a sister, a mixed young man, and a Chinese child. The only one that was wanting to find herself was the sister. And they were like mad, like, well, she's like, I want to know where I come from. They're like, well, why do you want to know? You come from, this is your mom, this, and I'm like, first of all, who are you kidding? You know, good and darn well, that girl is like, it doesn't make sense. Like, that girl's gonna want answers. If we know his name is one, but everybody proclaimed to speak according to his name, why are we having El, Elohim, Lord, Adonai? It's like, why are all these different titles? Why is it not just simply I am that I am? Why do mankind, as it was stated in Ecclesiastes, scheme to find inventions of deception? Like, why do men tend to want to go off and make things difficult for themselves? It's really not difficult. I'm getting another. I'm going to a whole nother thing. Like I'm done. I'm done with this. I said go back. I ain't got time for this nonsense. Origins of hell. Period. El, Canaanite god of the Hebrew. And you know, it had to also have the nerve to say our people were Canaanites. No, we were not. No, we were not Canaanites. They want to make us Canaanites by calling us African. That's another attempt to try to make us Canaanites. We're not. We're not. But if they tell you you're a Canaanite, which is you're African, that means you're Ham, and then you're supposed to think these Jewish people are Shem. Well, then that would mean the lost tribes are somewhere amongst these white people then, right? No, wrong. I'm going to expose this daggone demon if it's the last thing I do. That's what I'm intending to do today. That's what I will do. All right. Ugh. Whatever that is. El was known as the supreme god of the Canaanites. Thank you. Let's just bring the tea out. All right. Pause it right there. Okay. So it's this little funny looking guy, this little bony looking, he looks like an Egyptian demon. In the University of Chicago, huh? El exhibit. There he goes with his no hands. So looking something like that Among Us stuff. I knew someone right about them Among Us things. Double function. Personal name, El. Some common now, general term, a god. A god. Which he warned us to have nothing above him. He warned us of gods. That is the clue for us. He warned us, children of Jacob, have no other God. So anything that's its name is this, it's a God, don't have it. No, I'm good. It ain't no, what's the name of God? See, when you look for what's the name of God, you're going to get Yahweh. Because the Father's not identified by God. He's a husbandman. That's the difference. See, God was resurrected from man wanting to have a form of power with some being and with man. So in order for me to have power from another being and with man, I got to make something to make myself look like I'm the one that knows. I'm the one that has a connection. That's what it's all about, this idolatry stuff. If I'm the one that made this deity, first of all, I'm going to be honored as the one who made it. So people are going to ask me about it. Oh, what's this the God of? This is the God of the birds. He wants you to give him a bird every third week of the week, every third day of the week. You have to kill the bird and place it right here. Bull crap, nonsense, stupidity, foolishness, rebellion, witchcraft, all that. Who is El? El was known as the supreme god of the Canaanites in the mythology of the ancient Near East. He was the father of gods. Yeah, okay. So you better pay attention to that. He's the father of them. The darn devil. Who is the father of idolatry? Who is the one of rebellion? Who said, I will exalt my throne above the Most High's throne and sit upon the mounts of sit in the sides of the north and all that. He was a fallen angel. And some other ones fell with him. So if he is the chief one and they're under him, there's other fallen angels who have resurrected themselves to be as worship as gods. No different than these reptilians and the giants who wanted people to worship them. Because they want to be deemed to the people as some supreme being or something. Anybody worshiping y'all? No, we're not doing it. He was a follower of gods and men. I hear Israel right there. Power with God and man. If you are a child of that means you're identified by those who, the deity that's of that. Listen, he was the father of gods and men. When that fallen angel was wrestling with our forefather Jacob, he said, now your name will no longer be called Jacob, but now it will be Israel. And with you will have power with God and man. So you are now a child of this deity. Hence the last letter in your name is El. But as we was just reading about it, he said he was bullied by a female deity. Let me go fight him. Let me go fight him. What? You mean to tell me a female deity, which is in the name mentioned first, Isis, and who in the middle? Little old baby Ra, little babe behind Ra. Another deity. He is sometimes depicted as a bull and known for his tremendous power and strength. Origins. Er was an important god in Canaanite mythology. That's the main reason why the father said, take no Canaanite women, because I don't need these women bringing a foolishness into my house. It is believed that he lived on Mount Saphon, close to the ancient Syrian city of Ugard. Where did that demon say he was going to find himself a place to stay? Let me get that scripture where the devil said he will exalt his throne above the heavens and dwell somewhere in the mountains. Isaiah 14. Here we go. Verse 13. Let's start at verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Ishi. Notice here it's stated Ishi, which in Hebrew they say is short for husband, or is the word for husband. So even right here, the creator is identified as a husband. What does a husband do? They keep, protect, provide, and produce. So this is what the creator want to be identified by. He keeps, protects, provides, and produces. And with all that, you gonna see his strength and his power. He don't gotta tell you, I'm powerful. This is what these superheroes and these Marvels and these little clowns do. This is what these wanting to be somebody trying to do. That's their characteristic, trying to prove themselves. Something like what Jewish people do. They overdress, blocks around their hands, blocks on their heads, curly fries on the side of their faces, little tiny cone hats, out there in the hot sun, trying not to get burnt up. Big old black hats, doing the most. They have the characteristic of their deity. Isaiah 14:14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like. Now, this one in this text has Elyon. That's wrong, Mr. Timothy. Mr. Timothy, you said there were no pagan terms in here, as in referring to my Father throughout his word. Timothy, I'm holding you to these charges. You have just put this EL here, and this is not right. I will say, be like the Most High. I will be a producer. I will be a keeper. I will be a provider. I want to be a husband too. So let me go snatch me up a wife, name her Azaroth. Then I'm going to make other people worship my wife, because the nation's going to be under serving Jacob, his children, his bride. Everything the Father has ordained, the enemy has copycatted. You got to think about that. When we read this, we got to be looking out for a deception that is trying to be similar to our Father, because it's not going to come in any other form. It wants to be like. So you got to be able to discern things that are looking like it's righteous, and to get to the heart of it to see if it's righteous. You got to get to the jugular. You got to do an open heart surgery by the Father's Spirit. See, what you about? What you really serve? Where you come from? What tree you fall from? Because they don't fall to. What fruit did you fall from the tree? Because they don't fall too far from the tree. So it said El was an important god in Canaanite mythology. It is believed that he lived on Mount Sephon, right? Let me finish reading, because I want to see where it says, he said, make my heights above the clouds. Mountains are high up. You ever hear about people going somewhere doing sacrifices at what's that place? Like going in coves and caves and stuff and doing little weird things on like History Channels and stuff like that. The Bohemians Cove or something like that. Ain't that what it's called? Bohemian, whatever. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So go as high as you want. Make your fall be very impactful. Father said, but yet you will fall. He lived on Mount Sephon. I want to find out what that place is. I'm going to write that down. Mount Sephon. Saphon. Saphon. Okay, let's keep reading. Close to the ancient Syrian city of Ugard. He was very respected and was considered by the people to be all-knowing, all-powerful. He was incredibly wise and compassionate to those that came to him for guidance, but not always. Legends and stories. There are not many myths that focus specifically on El. Instead, he finds a small role in myths focused on other figures to make it even more difficult to learn about him. Many of the original tablets that spoke about him were discovered in poor shape, making several parts of myths involving El difficult to interpret. Aquat's myth. A story sourced from the city of Ugard tells of Aquat, the son of King Daniel. The king had been providing Kothar, the craftsman god, with a room in his palace to show his gratitude for the gracious hospitality. Kothar gave Aquat his personal bow and arrows, but the goddess Anath was upset and wanted the bow for herself. She tried to buy it from Aquat with gold and silver, but the prince refused to her offer. She tried again to purchase the bow from him, offering him immorality. This time, the prince was offended by the offer and told the goddess that she was a man destined to die and should not be cursed with immorality. Anath was upset and went to El. She asked that the prince be killed. El gave her permission, but upon Aquat's death, the land suffered a great drought and crops would no longer grow. Enough was upset and wanted to bring the prince back to life so the people would no longer starve. Just retardation. See, so in other words, she acts out of anger. This sounds like Edomites. I can't get my way, so let me kill you. They can't even say the Most High like that. You don't choose his way, which is life. You chose to kill yourself. Not, oh, you don't want to worship me? I'm going to kill you. Do we see people fall every single day because they choose not the way of life? We hear the serpent not surely die. They not surely dying quite yet. In other words, you ain't dying instantly, but you are walking in the path of death. Not even the Father operates like that. I don't know what a quartz. I don't know what she is. So I guess she the daughter or something like this. Here she came up again. So El is the father of all the deities. And he's the one that if some other deity get mad, they can say, can I kill this deity? Kill the deity. It didn't even give you reason why he allowed her to do something like this. We don't even see the reasoning behind El, why he do certain things like this. What makes him a father of gods? Why would he make such a judgment like that? What makes him just? What makes him not just? It doesn't even make sense. And Canaanites definitely are strange. Stuff like putting powder all on you and dancing and doing all crazy stuff and saying the gods is coming and all this kind of jazz. Like, oh my goodness, if that does not like make you think something is absolutely off. Where in the scripture, where in the word, where the father had his children putting on mud on them, getting trees, smacking and dancing and Baal's myth. Baal was the son of El, according to many accounts, but there are also sources that say he might have been more of a distant relative. Baal complained to El that he didn't have a magnificent house like so many of the other gods did. Mailman just dropped something off. Now, who was that walking up on my porch? Okay. All right. So he didn't have a man. Okay. So like so many other gods did. So these are gods of materialistic, power-driven, hungry little brats. Something that would come from, I want your throne. I don't want to serve you no more. I want your throne. This is the characteristic of the devil and his children. They don't understand lowliness. They don't understand servitude and a genuineness of heart, as in treating others the way they want to be treated. Coveting, not coveting. They don't understand those kind of things. They're driven by their characteristics stem from disobedience to the commandments. This is what I'm seeing here. Somebody else has houses and you want, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house or thy neighbor's axe or their wife or manservants or manservants, anything that's their neighbors. But these little funny characters, you're a god. So if you're a god, why don't you go find your own house somewhere? Doing the whole wide most. Oh, snap. Flash 87. What's up, brother? How you doing? I just replaced the L with all praises to the Father. Because Hayat is living. It's existing. Existing, beloved. Jeremiah 8:8, the pen of the scribes is in vain. Yes. You notice in Superman, his real name from the house of, wow. Yes, brother Flash. Yes. Because there are some of his children that need to be, you're going to be fully sealed when you detest and face the things that are upon you. There's beloved brothers and sisters that need to come to this of truth. And I am so honored and I'm grateful that Brother Flash has replaced that, has given that back to from whence it came. Because after all, the synagogue of Satan, their state is identified by that name. And our people need to start considering, if a murderer has stabbed up people and killed your ancestors with a knife, would you want to cut your cake with that? Would you want to pass that knife down in your family? No, no more than it doesn't make sense for us to be wearing crosses around our necks because Yeshua died for us. That's not the way we don't know. We don't do that. Yes, he did. Exactly. And that's what the Father always, before I realized the truth, the wisdom he's given me, by his spirit, I call them prophets of Baal by their characteristics. It was their characters, but I didn't know. I'm not saying my brothers and sisters who are Israelites who don't know. It's a certain sector of them. There's some Israelites that they are like bona fide by their fruits. They are like, you know what I mean? Conversation wise, you could just like this, you can see it. But there's other ones who they haven't come to the knowledge yet, but they're on their way, and you're like, oh, they're gonna get it. They're gonna wake up. They're gonna realize that we are identified by the living one, the existing one. That's what you get out of John 8:58. Before Abraham was, I am. So when you see I am, you see ahaya, you see existing. Even in this Bible, it says in the beginning, it literally says haya. And the earth was haya, which means existing without form. But when you put the A there, it's the almighty existing one. Oh, bless you, Flash 87. Bless you. What was I at? Okay. All right. So mind you, we're talking about the sun here now. So this is basically Ra. We got Aquas, which is Isis. And now we're reading about that little bad baby. Okay. You see how he bad, right? He bad. He over here talking about, oh, somebody got a house and I don't got no house. Sound like typical Timmy. Temper tantrum Timmy. That's why they're all white. That's why their deities are white. And if they got some brown ones, it's just probably because of the Canaanites. That's all. They ain't identified with us. All right. He did feel that he deserved such a house. He felt he deserved such a house as he had just conquered Yam. El agreed and had a house built for Baal. So this is the fallen angels' deities. Basically, it's the fallen angels that go to Lucifer and like, listen, I know you got your little stuff worship and everything like that and all that and the jazz, but what about me though? I need something. You want a house? You look at different religions. Those are houses. Those are the houses of, which means the keeping of these worships, the images, and they're all identified with symbols. You got the yin and the yang. You got the Star of David. You got the cross. You got the moon and the star. All that symbols. I don't care what their justifications are. By what's in my face, what they present me, the symbol is already telling me it's not of my Father. It's not, because he does not deal with symbols. He doesn't. This is why people had a problem with Yeshua when he was on the scene, because they were looking for something that was what they were accustomed to believe, what one with power should have. You shouldn't be coming on an ass. You should have 50 women in front of you and a big house, and you should sit in the high places, and you should have long decorative outfits, and you should speak really long with prayers, and you should wear these big hats and have rings on all your fingers and all that kind of jazz. It's a characteristic of Baal and his children, and El and his kids and all that. Just listen at this little brat. The house was completed. Baal held celebration. However, he did not invite his twin brother Mod. Now he got a twin. This angered Mod, who decided to invite him to the underworld, as he was the god of death. Though Baal was concerned, he didn't want to risk insulting his brother again, and took him up to his invitation. When Baal visited Mot, he saw that the table was set for a large feast. The food served was the food of death. And when Baal ate it, he found himself trapped in the underworld. While Baal was trapped, El began to search for someone to replace him. El's wife suggested her son Ashtar. Ashtar. Here they go, here they go, here they go. Easter. It is winch come. Ashtar was the god of irrigation, but quickly realized that he could not fill Baal's place, for when he sat on his throne, he could not even reach the ground with his feet. So you mean to tell me you're the father of the gods, but your child's bigger than you? I can't. Continue to look for a successor, but once Baal's wife fought Mot and was able to bring Baal back, the two. So you mean to tell me a fight brought him back, but he ate the food of death though and was trapped? Why he ain't just fighting? Why he ain't just throw up the food in? Why he ain't just have a bowel movement? Stop playing with me. The two continue to rule together. Family. They rule together. When you see that Trinity, it's the ruling of them all. And you can't have the one without the other. And the other one comes to bind around it. Just like the image of this Santa Claus character. He looked like Santa Claus. The only thing that doesn't make him Santa Claus is his outfit and a little bit big jolly cheeks. But a whole serpent is around him. And the Father said, the serpent seed and his seed shall have enmity against each other forever. Family. El was a supreme God. He was married, and some sources say that he had over 70 children. Here are some of more notable members of his family. Asherah was El's wife, a Canaanite mother goddess. She was also a sea goddess, and some accounts is referred to as Lady of the Sea. Isn't that title given to the daggone Statue of Liberty? She goes under many other names, including Lady of BYBLOS, Mother of the Gods, Queen of the Sea, and Hathor. Anyways, the Statue of Liberty is her image. And back past times in Egypt, Baal, he is said to be the god under El. Together they rule in tandem, with Baal being the fertility god and god of storms. He was married to his sister Anat and possibly had several other wives, including Arissa, Balat, Padaria, and Talia. He fought a battle for control of the earth with Yam and killed Lothan, the serpent. It is said that he lived in Sepon, a large dwelling above the earth, which had a large hole in the floor so that he could water the ground below. His twin brother was Mot, and when Baal died, his wife Anat fought and killed Mot, who was the god of the underworld. Baal was then brought back to life and regained his command. He is usually depicted as a strong warrior with a horned helmet. Oh, I seen something like that yesterday when I was getting these pictures up. Hold on. You type in Yahweh and that's what came up. Let me show y'all. Okay. And then let me go to images. Where that little statue drawing? Okay. First, I was just, oh my goodness. Demonic. Look at that. Triangle. You think about triangle, you think about Trinity. So when Pope is like, I follow you, when I baptize you in the Father and Son, what he really basically saying is, I'm going to immerse you into this daggone covenant with the wicked, which is El, his little bad baby Baal, and the wife, whatever her name. Disgusting. Did y'all see that? Oh, Father. Oh, look at this. Who that? Ain't that good old-fashioned Jesus? Y'all see that? Hold on, let me make sure to see how it look on the screen. Who that? He's supposed to be so-called the son, right? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this reptile. Look at this. That's right. Look at this. Mankind, it says the origin of evil. Mankind, slave of Yahweh. Yahweh and the gods and goddess of Canaan. There goes that little man with the horn. There we go. Coming straight out of Egypt. Coming straight out of Egypt. Born and raised on the playground. He was saying, but his names. Yup. The daggone devil, y'all. So keep it in mind. Right? Where is it? Who else they put in the Bible? Did they not put Jehovah in there? When Jehovah is the same as they said the J is for the Y sound. I got this hair serum I'm doing for hair growth, and it be making my scalp irritate. It say why Yahweh and why not Zeus? Look at this. Look at this. What people have to understand is that in the Tetragrammaton, the name Yahweh, which is the Father of gods, is inside of all those names. This is why they're spelled with the Y. And if you look at the U's, they say the U's make the Y sound or whatever. It just doesn't change, y'all. It doesn't change. This is why I be encouraging y'all to get this Bible, because this is the only one that has in the back of it pagan terms removed. And by then, when I had got this and I saw Elohim are from Babylon and do not belong to the inspired Hebrew scriptures, El is the same as Baal. So we use the Hebrew. It says number 352, Yil instead of number 477. It has the pound YL, and this could be pronounced Il Yasha. But either way, it still contains the name Yasha. I'll just say Yasha. I ain't with this ills and all that, yills and all that, feels and all that. For the name of God, Yahweh, to become I am, requires a very minor change of the Hebrew letters. The scripture uses Ishi for El and Ahia instead of Yahweh, because we don't do Yahweh. And if you look at all those, let me show y'all, beloved brothers and sisters. What you got to first understand is that even if you don't say the name El, but you go by saying my name is Israel, you identify yourself as a son of that. That is actually agreeing to the baptism of what the Pope does to people in Christianity by confession of mouth. That's why they say, if you confess with your mouth, how was everything created in the creation? By his word. John 1 tells us that we see as a people what the effects of not opening our mouth can do and what opening our mouth can do, simply in the story of Jericho. And when we look over here, hold on, give me a minute. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Ahia, and the Word was Ahia. The same was in the beginning with Ahia. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. So all things were made by his word. By his word. If it's not made by his word, it was not made. It doesn't exist. It's not real. That is resurrected deities. Father did not make them. The enemy did. The adversary made them. He made them, literally gave them. Oh, you want to be this? You be the this and then the third of death. But see, We already know that Yeshua by the word has overcome death, hell, and the grave. So they fighting, acting a fool, and carrying on all this for what reason? We looking at them while they like how the Palestinians and the Jewish people are looking. We over here eating popcorn like, well, listen at me. When you get done shooting and killing each other, I'm gonna gather up the remnants and we're gonna put you in your place. How about that? Ishmael and Esau, y'all look stupid because y'all both rejected. So just do us both a favor and get yourself on a coupe on your way to destruction. Just get that coupe of destruction. You be all right. Let's get you another point because Father really wants. Now, there's 7 people watching here, as it is stated. From what the Father has been revealing on this channel concerning the name Israel, and also from my brother Ahia's house, Brother Holly, way back in fall, when he shared a video concerning the unholy Trinity. Is there any single person on this stream right now that has a question or have a statement to argue with me? Present it, please, not to say instruct ways, but please, like if there's something that because there could be a question I haven't considered that we can search. A good constructive, is healthy. We need someone who may not be able to see clearly to be helped to be seen, to see clearly. So please, I encourage. There's any questions that say, hey, can you explain to me why that was a fallen angel? Or can you explain to me why we shouldn't be called, or just whatever question that can help y'all understand. I'm willing to, I need y'all to bring forth because I cannot move forward until Father says it's sufficient. Because there are people who are still identified by that, and because they're identified with that, when the Father begins to cut the fat off of you, when he begins to circumcise your heart according to his word, things that we thought were of him, when things are taken from us, it eliminates the foolishness we tolerate. It eliminates the company we keep and the tables we eat from. Because you begin to start wondering, if one could find this out, why couldn't they have found this out? And if those are people who are under their thing, probably ask questions, they're probably not going to be willing to ask me, but they'll go ask their people, hey, can you do this girl on YouTube? She be talking about, this, what do you know about that? And this person, and they'll be like, wait a minute, I asked you a question and you can't tell me, but this person, provide receipts or this. Like it's about that time. Like I'm willing to do a Google chat. I'm dead serious. Like I'm not dead serious. I'm lively serious. That it's about time that if there's anybody willing who is wanting to present an argument concerning that we should still be called that, Dirt the Great. Whatever I know I spelled wrong. I don't know. I don't know what that ayahuasca. Dirt the Great. I do not know. Can you give me a clue in regards to what you're trying to say? I need to find it. It's a shame, brother. It's reference to nectar of gods. Oh. First of all, be very careful on this channel. That's what I'm gonna say to you. I don't know. When I say be careful, means just be cautious of what you share, because this is not my platform. This is my Father's platform. This is his stage. That's what I'm saying. And secondly, I'm ignorant to gods. I only know my Father. By his wisdom, I'm able to expose. I'm not intrigued to know anything about nobody's nectar of God's. I really don't give a John Brown. Because if something ain't real, it don't have nectar. That's what I could put it to you like, yeah. Trying to find my brother when he was talking about the unholy. Oh, there we go. Fleet, there we go. Listen at my brother real here, real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna put my Bluetooth on. I was curious. Well, beloved, first and foremost, are you a born again individual that keeps the commandments and have faith in the Most High and His Word? Are you, Dirt the Great, someone who keeps the commandments and faith in the Word? And do as and live as it is written and do as it's written? I already got my answer. I want to see what yours is. Meanwhile, I'm going to let my brother play.
All praise the Most High. I'm very pleased and happy to be with you again today on this Sabbath.
For someone to be worried or concerned or curious about that kind of question, family, what fruit is that? We're going to deal with what we got right here on the surface. We're going to discern from what we're dealing with right here. You know what that's called? That's called unprofitable curiosity. One must wonder, what is the profit of me knowing about nectar of a God? Just keep that in mind. Just let that marinate. Let that marinate.
Hopefully bring a teaching today that'll be both enlightening and edifying. That is always my prayer. Well, what we're going to talk about today is flee idolatry and flee the idolatry of the Israel. Now, most of you right now have just put that word together, and that word is a name that's been subscribed to a people, to a land, and to a nation. That name is found all over your Bibles, no matter what version you have. And that name is subscribed to those who are of the children of Jacob. And they're calling themselves by that name, even in these days of the Great Awakening of the Most High's people. But it never sat well with me, children. It just never did. I know that we are of a higher, and the whole world lie in wickedness. And they lie in wait to deceive. So is there a deception there? I think so. And the Most High by His Spirit, drew me to this. He started dealing with me about what that name means. Does it mean the upright of the Most High? Or does it mean something else? Well, I got a little handout here that I drew up. And forgive my cave drawings. I hold that upside down. Let me help you. We got IS. That's ISIS, and we're reminded not to say the names of these pagan deities. ISIS is an Egyptian goddess or deity. RA is an Egyptian sun deity. And EL is a Canaanite deity. And I refer to that word as a switchcraft of the unholy trinity of the pagan deities. The Most High spoke to me early in the week by His Spirit. He just spoke me one word. He said switchcraft. And I said, I don't even know what that means. And the Most High started talking to me about it. He said how people have switched words from one thing and put a substitute word in its place and had you going astray on it. And when I discovered that Israel is indeed a word that is synonymous with 3 pagan deities and has nothing to do with the children of Jacob, I began to understand what the Most High was trying to get me to see. And I begin to bring this out to you today, that we take the word out of our mouth. Now, that's another word that's on that list now of words we can't say no more. Because that word, just like in Free M, you know what I'm talking about, the Free M's? They have a word for their deity. Once you get to the high echelons, up into the high levels, they'll tell you, okay, this is the name of the deity we worship. And the tetragrammaton is part of that name. Now, I'm not going to say that name neither, but there's 3 separate deities from 3 separate religions on this planet that they combine into a name, and they say that's who they worship. And the same thing has been done with Israel, the combination of 3 separate deities into a name, and a group of people who basically stole a land, stole identity, stole a heritage, have adopted for themselves. And the deception, brothers and sisters, is that now they have the people, the true children of Jacob, using that same name to describe themselves. Come on, children, you gotta wake up. Because why? Why? We have a commandment, children, not to put the names of these foreign deities in our mouth. I'm gonna read it to you in Exodus. We're gonna be going over this until you get it. And I pray the Most High put a watch over my mouth as well as yours,
Yes, that
so
part.
that we won't disobey His commandment.
Yes.
Here it is. This is Exodus chapter 23, starting at verse 13. We're going to read. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect or careful, and make no mention of the names of other gods.
I gotta go back.
Neither let it be heard
because I ain't hear what he
of
said.
other gods.
Hold on.
Neither let it be.
I need to go back. So he said Exodus 23. I'm gonna type it in the chat. Exodus 23. Oh, it's in caps. Hold on. And 23. What he said? Let me go back.
Heard out of thy mouth. Don't do it.
Did I go back to one?
When you use Israel and you say that word,
I hate when you try to rewind, it go up some.
so that we won't disobey His commandment. Here it is. This is Exodus chapter 23, starting at verse 13. We're going to read. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect or careful, and make no mention of the names of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. Don't do it.
That's right.
When you use Israel and you say that word, you are taking 3 separate pagan deities names in a conglomerate that have been put together and condensed together and speaking out of your mouth. And by saying that you are an ite of that, you're saying that I'm a member of those 3 things. Forgive us, Father. We know not what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive us. You did this in ignorance and unbelief, and I understand that. And the Most High said in the book of Acts that, in the times past, when we sinned in our ignorance, He winked at it. Mm-hmm. But now He commands men everywhere to repent.
That's right.
Just repent.
Simple.
Just repent. Say, Father, I was wrong. In the name of Yeshua, please forgive me. I won't do that no more.
That's right.
I have been corrected. I won't do that no more.
Yeah.
So be it.
So be it, Brother Holly.
Let's look on. Why is this so dangerous, Brother Holly? Why is it so dangerous? Well, the book of Jeremiah chapter 9 explains why it's so dangerous. Because people lie. And in Jeremiah 9, it gives you a warning about people, even people called brother and sister. Warns you about them. Let's read it. Jeremiah 9, start reading at verse 3. And they bend their tongues like their bow for lies, but they are not valiant for the truth to the earth. For they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, saith Ahiah. Take ye heed every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother. For every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders. And they will deceive every one his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. For every brother will, for they have taught their tongue to speak lies, and weary themselves to commit iniquity. Thy habitation is in the midst of deceit. Through deceit they refuse to know me, saith Ahiah.
There we have it. See there?
Now Ahiah was telling us through the prophet that our habitation is in the midst of deceit. We live in a crooked and perverse place, amongst a crooked and perverse people, a people who have lied to us to no end. They got this whole country worshiping these folks who use that name, who fly that flag with that star of their God that they made on it, that hexagram. And when you study these things, they will admit that emblem has been used for paganism, but they're trying to quote unquote redeem it by using it as their symbol. You're not redeeming it, you're just showing allegiance to your fallen ones. That's all you're doing.
That's all.
We seeing you as you are.
That way.
For the Apostle Paul, in whom we trust, said, we are wise into your devices.
Okay.
Wicked one.
Come on, brother.
We see you as you really are.
That's part.
It's no cloak for your sin anymore. It's wide open. The Most High has opened our eyes.
Exposing it left and right.
We have wiped the eye salve that the Most High gave us through his son Yasha upon our eyes that we may see. Don't close your eyes now, children. Keep moving. Keep looking. And you will behold wondrous things from his law. Open the word. You know, when Yahshua was praying to the Father in John 17, he says, sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is true.
Yes, yes.
We got to be valiant to the truth. We got to pay allegiance to the truth. Mm-hmm. We can't be living on lies no more.
No slack.
We can't be following the kind of device of men who lie in wait to deceive no more. Mm-hmm. We got to walk in the light and in the truth.
That's right, brother.
Why it's still called today.
Mm-hmm.
So be it.
So be it, brother.
Now, in the book of Amos, you're not going to be loved for your adherence to the truth. They're going to hate you for it. The book of Amos tells us in Amos chapter 5, verse 10, it says, they hate him.
Amos 5:10. Oh, I thought I said 100. No, I said 5:10. I said nobody's 100. All right.
That rebukes in the gate, and they abhor him that speaks uprightly. When you start speaking about being upright and rebuking in the gate, identifying those who are not upright, shout out to Allah be magnified. Keep going, sister. When you bring the rebukes, they're gonna hate you for it. Didn't Yasha tell us that marvel not if the world hates you? For they could not hate you first, for they hated me first.
That part.
He said they hated me because I spoke of them, that their deeds were evil. So when we speak of this deception that has been perpetrated upon the people of the Most High, when we show the world that Israel is nothing more than adhering to three pagan deities, as used to disguise and hide and lie to the children of Jacob, the real people of the Most High, they're going to hate you for it. They're going to throw rocks at you. Like Yasha told us, they're going to run you out the synagogue. They're going to kill you and think they're doing the Most High service. Mm-hmm. Don't be shaken by these things. And my time is running out, so I got to be quick. In my next teaching for this Sabbath, for this Sabbath, this Sabbath, I'm going to bring out some more on these issues at hand. I'm going to talk about all these. You can't go on YouTube right now without seeing rapture videos, so we're going to talk about that.
Oh yeah, next. I remember that. So that was our brother Holly from our highest house. That his channel is looks like that. You see that little symbol there, the blue with the A and the black background with the gold writing. And I just really felt that it was very amazing to me how it was a while before I was mentioning that the Father had dropped it in this brother's spirit to mention that. We had mentioned that prior to when we found out about Jeshurun. I was so excited. I remember the first time, it was shortly after the Father had just opened my eyes to his name. And by truly finding him and seeking his face, it was a can opener. He's like, well, now you found me. Now you're going to really find your identity. But see, they wanted us to only think that we were surface as you're the something lights, so that you would eat out of the oppressor's hands of what been deemed all this time as the people. I could never understand any of our people who've ever had sat underneath the teaching of a Jewish person or a person, Jewish institute, or none of that, or who would have no problem speaking modern Hebrew, like those kind of people. I'm telling you, I can say humbly, I don't think you were ever of the Father. I'm sorry, because he wouldn't have drawn you today. He wouldn't have drawn you today. And if you found yourself doing that, you were just simply a stumbling block, because that's not the Father's will, that his children had to go to modern Hebrew and go learn of a Jewish person. If you can't see in this waking, there's a synagogue of the devil, a temple of the devil, that's what they are. If you can see that this person of the devil, why would you not expect them to teach you something that's not of the Father? It does not make sense to me. Then when I first came into this awakening, by the Father revealing his name to me, according to after that, he started showing me stuff. I had a lot of people that was like, sisters, blessed sisters, and this is nothing against y'all beautiful sisters, but y'all was like, I've been learning this all my life and this and the third. And I'm like, no tea, no shade. And like, what has it done for you? If you feel that in depth that you have learned the Father, and I see that you still calling yourself by this deity, and you have not come to the knowledge of the truth, then it does not matter how long we've been doing Christianity for some time, and it really wasn't the way. Just because you're doing the wrong thing the wrong way for a long time doesn't mean that if you're driving a car the wrong way, eventually it's going to break down. And so I just love how brother just broke it down, that it's a pagan deities and 3 in 1. It's a trinity of 3. No different than Christianity. It's like you jump out of the oven into the frying pan, or you jump out of the frying pan into the oven. Christianity is the frying pan, and Judaism hidden decorative tactics and snares are placed on our road to the truth. One of them are their modern language of Hebrew. Honestly, I do not see I can't say that it's not we don't have a language that would not help us better than English, because English is so based. It's so like bastard. I do not have a respect for either languages on this planet, because I know that when I first woke up to the truth, as I would lay down and close my eyes and talk with him, there would be letters in my head or word scriptures being downloaded in me that I, my own self, cannot speak. I do not know what language that was. So when the prophet was like, woe is me, I'm undone, for I speak of an unclean language, what the Father put inside of us will then be manifested later on. But I know I'm not able to speak that language in this place, because we all ain't got he took the holy language, beloveds. He took it and brought babble in the languages, which is confusion. If I'm basing my understanding of a person by what they're saying, or if I don't understand what they're saying, but I'm looking at their characteristics, and that's how people would learn. The natives, when they came over here, they looked at the demeanor of the people. They were dirty. They smelled. They didn't know nothing. They had guns. Beast. The natives were seeing the colonizers as savages. But who ended up calling them savages, though? The savages. I don't know what language you're speaking, but you reek of a beast. You stink. You don't know how to this, that, and the third. Here, let me show you. You know why they want to show them? Because our people had so much love for the earth. We were earth-connected people. We knew that if we didn't obey our Father, the earth wasn't going to yield to us. So there was a relationship between the earth and us. So we're thinking, you come over here with your unclean stuff and you're going to destroy the earth. You might start, we say you flicking and cutting at the leaves and whoa, wait a minute, stop it. What are you doing? Your demeanor and your language of life is confusion. It's destruction. It's disruptive. It's chaotic. It's the tune of noise. So if I don't know a language, but there's a people that speak in the so-called Hebrew, but I deal with the fruits that they show me, beside that, there's something called Satan. You doing outward stuff that ain't, it's not the surface, and you're not even righteous within. I would only assume that your language is not the way to my Father. The only way to him is his word. If we have the word in English and they did some snares, you better believe upon his grace, which is sufficient for you through his spirit. He will give you understanding, and you'll be reading something. He'll say that is not there, and he'll let your eyes see. You'll be like, whoa. Because remember, that Israel is plastered all through this word, but Jeshurun's only in there 4 times. Upright is only, which is the name for upright. He said in Isaiah 44:2, thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. Ecclesiastes 7 said, you made man upright. So when he said, I made man in my image, you know what man he was talking about? The man of Jacob. Everybody else outside your beast. There it goes. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm keeping it real. Revelation's already confirmed it. For without our dogs, without what? His word. Because man was made in it. If you're not made by his word, you are without his image. In other words, without his image, what are you? Savage, beast. And that's how I see creations, the creatures, without my Father's word. I do really, first, I don't care what color you are, but if you happen to be my brother, I have expectations for you. And if you were heathen talking about my word, I'm just like, sit down somebody's word. Because you don't know what you're talking about. My Father didn't form you to be doing that. My Father didn't send you. So I don't want to go further too much. This video has been a long video, and it needs to be able to grasp those who it needs to. And sometimes our people with our short attention spans, we don't tend to get what we need to get and sit down and be fed because we just want to hurry up and run, or somebody else is popping up. Oh, this is going on and this and the third. So with that being said, I pray through the Holy Spirit of my Father that those that are supposed to receive this message gets this message, and to those that it's not for you, hey, it's going to be all right. For me, it's going to be all right. I'm good. I'm not mad at you. I don't hate you. Nothing. It's not my fault. Neither is it your fault. It's just of him that willeth and chose and elected. So I'm speaking. This is a call to the upright of Jacob. To do your due diligence, my beloveds, and to throw those idols in the trash, like me and Zebediah's song. We throw those idols in the trash. Throw those idols in the trash. Get them uprooted out of your heart, so he can take you to the next level of learning with him. You're gonna be soaring when you wait upon him. You will mount up like wings of eagles. You will mount up. Come up hither, beloveds. It's time. Love you so very much, family, for those that tuned in and those who were edified. Oh, my brother said, King, peace be unto you as well. Peace receive. I thank you for all tuning in, brothers and sisters. I thank you those who are doing your due diligence, that when you receive this word, you do what is required of you and take it to the Father. Y'all mean the most to me. I may not meet you all or even know your names, but you're somewhere in the spirit. I feel you, and I love y'all. And I pray that you all will continue to walk in light, to remain out of darkness. And to that I say, I go in peace. And if higher willings, I'll be back on here. If not, so be it. For now, love y'all so very much. Peace and blessings. I don't mean like I'm leaving or anything. It's just saying I'm going to be getting some things done around this home. All right. Love y'all. Peace and blessings to you. In the name of Ahai, I come and I bear your shot through his holy set apart spirit, which is the Father. The Father is spirit. There's no separations. Love you. Peace and blessings. You all right, DeGale? What you barking about, DeGale?